Ever feel like you're stuck repeating the same relationship mistakes, but can't quite pinpoint why? Maybe you notice more arguments, less trust, or a growing emotional distance. If this sounds like your experience, you're not alone, but you might unknowingly be sabotaging your love life. Today, I'll reveal 3 toxic relationship habits you might be overlooking, and exactly how to fix them before it's too late. Hi, I'm Evelyn Stonebridge, and I want to welcome you back to the Mindful Relationships channel, where we explore the path to deeper connection and emotional well-being. In this video, we're diving deep into 3 surprisingly common habits that quietly undermine relationships, along with clear, actionable steps to turn things around. Let's get started. Let's talk about something many of us have struggled with at some point in our relationships: negative communication. You know what I mean? Those moments when criticism, blame, or fault-finding slip out, often with the best of intentions. We convince ourselves we're just being honest, trying to help, or even offering constructive feedback. But here's the thing: even when it comes from a place of love, this type of communication slowly chips away at the foundation of emotional safety in a relationship. Think about it. When you're on the receiving end of constant criticism, how does it make you feel? Probably not heard, seen, or understood. Instead, it likely triggers defensiveness, resentment, and a desire to withdraw. Over time, this dynamic creates a wedge between partners, making it harder to communicate effectively about anything, let alone resolve conflicts constructively. So how do we shift from criticism to connection? It starts with understanding the impact of our words and consciously choosing a more compassionate approach. One powerful technique is called gentle startups. This involves expressing your feelings and needs without attacking your partner's character or behavior. For example, instead of saying, "You never listen to me," which can feel accusatory and hurtful, try something like, "I feel unheard when we talk sometimes. Could we please take some time to really listen to each other?" Notice the difference? The second approach focuses on your own experience and invites your partner into a dialogue rather than putting them on the defensive. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid conflict altogether. Conflict is a natural part of any relationship. It's about learning to navigate disagreements with respect, empathy, and a genuine desire to understand each other's perspectives. When you shift from blame to understanding, you create a space for deeper connection and intimacy to flourish. Another common trap in communication is the silent treatment. We've all been there. That icy silence after an argument, where resentment simmers beneath the surface. But here's the thing: silence doesn't resolve anything. It simply allows negativity to fester and grow, creating distance and misunderstanding. Instead of retreating into silence, practice open and honest communication, even when it's uncomfortable. Share your feelings calmly and respectfully, and encourage your partner to do the same. Remember, communication is a two-way street. It's about both speaking your truth and actively listening to your partner's perspective. Think of communication as the lifeblood of your relationship. Just like a plant needs water to thrive, relationships need open, honest, and compassionate communication to flourish. By shifting from criticism to connection and embracing vulnerability in your conversations, you can create a more fulfilling and loving partnership. Let's talk about something that's often mistaken as a strength, but can actually be incredibly damaging to our relationship's emotional walls. We build these walls brick by brick, often unconsciously, as a way to protect ourselves from getting hurt. We convince ourselves that if we don't let anyone in, we can't be disappointed, rejected, or abandoned. But here's the paradox. In our attempts to protect ourselves from pain, we inadvertently create the very disconnection we fear most. When we shut down emotionally, our partners are left feeling shut out, confused, and even rejected. They may start to question their own worthiness of love and affection, wondering why their attempts to connect are met with silence or indifference. This lack of vulnerability creates a vicious cycle. The more we withdraw, the more our partners feel pushed away, and the less safe it feels to open up. Over time, this can lead to a relationship that feels more like a business arrangement than a loving partnership. Practical and functional, perhaps, but lacking in true emotional intimacy. So, how do we break down these walls and create space for genuine connection? It starts with recognizing that vulnerability isn't a weakness. It's the courage to be our authentic selves, even when it feels scary. It's about allowing ourselves to be seen, heard, and loved for who we truly are, imperfections and all. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Easier said than done, right? And you're not wrong. Vulnerability can feel incredibly risky, especially if you've been hurt before. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be a grand, sweeping gesture. In fact, it's often the small, everyday moments of vulnerability that pave the way for deeper intimacy. Start by sharing something genuine with your partner each day. It could be as simple as expressing your appreciation for something they did, confiding a fear or insecurity, or sharing a hope or dream for the future. The key is to be authentic and allow yourself to be seen. Remember, vulnerability is a two-way street. As you open up, create a safe and non-judgmental space for your partner to do the same. Listen with empathy, validate their feelings, and reassure them that their vulnerability is a gift, not a burden. Think of vulnerability as a muscle that strengthens with practice. The more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, the easier it becomes, and the more connected you'll feel to your partner. Remember, true intimacy flourishes in an environment of safety, trust, and mutual vulnerability. One of the most powerful ways to cultivate vulnerability is through empathy. Instead of judging or offering solutions, try to see the world through your partner's eyes. Ask clarifying questions, listen without interrupting, and validate their feelings, even if you don't fully understand them. When your partner feels heard and understood, it creates a deeper sense of safety and connection, making it easier for them to open up and share their own vulnerabilities. Remember, relationships thrive on empathy and understanding. It's the bridge that connects two hearts, even when they see the world differently. Chapter 3. Keeping score and holding grudges. Let's be honest, we've all been there. That mental scorecard we keep in relationships, tallying up who did what, who messed up more, or who owes who an apology. It's a subtle but toxic habit that can slowly poison even the strongest of bonds. We convince ourselves that keeping score is about fairness, about ensuring we're not being taken advantage of. But here's the truth. Keeping score only creates a breeding ground for resentment, bitterness, and emotional exhaustion. Think about it. When you're constantly focused on who's ahead or behind, you're not truly present in the relationship. You're too busy keeping track of past grievances to fully engage in the present moment and appreciate the good things your partner brings to the table. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you focus on the negative, the more negativity you see, and the more distant you feel from your partner. So, how do we break free from this cycle of scorekeeping and resentment? It starts with understanding that true love isn't a transaction. It's not about keeping tabs or demanding reciprocity. It's about choosing to show up for each other, imperfections and all, and recognizing that relationships ebb and flow. There will be times when one person gives more than the other, and that's okay. Instead of clinging to past hurts and keeping score, practice the art of letting go. This doesn't mean you have to condone hurtful behavior or pretend it didn't happen. It's about choosing to release the anger, resentment, and pain that's keeping you stuck in the past. One powerful way to let go of grudges is to have an open and honest conversation with your partner about the underlying hurt. Share your feelings calmly and respectfully, without blame or accusation, and listen with an open heart to their perspective. The goal isn't to rehash the past, but to understand each other's experiences and find a path towards healing and forgiveness. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Forgiveness? But they haven't even apologized. And you're right. Forgiveness doesn't depend on an apology from the other person. It's a gift you give yourself. A conscious decision to release the burden of anger and resentment and move forward with a lighter heart. Remember, forgiveness isn't about condoning or forgetting. It's about reclaiming your emotional energy and peace. It's about choosing to focus on the present moment and cultivating a more loving and compassionate relationship with yourself and your partner. One of the most effective ways to let go of grudges is to practice gratitude. Instead of focusing on what your partner did wrong, try shifting your attention to the good things they bring to your life. Make a conscious effort to notice and appreciate their positive qualities, their acts of kindness, and the ways they enrich your life. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to resentment. It helps us to reframe our perspective and focus on the good, even when things are tough. By cultivating a spirit of gratitude, we can break free from the cycle of scorekeeping and create a more loving and fulfilling relationship. Let's recap. Replace criticism with compassionate communication. Let down emotional walls by safely practicing vulnerability. Drop the mental scorecard. Embrace forgiveness for your own well-being. Changing these habits isn't an overnight fix. It's a journey. But every step towards healthier patterns will strengthen your bond. Want to continue strengthening your relationship? Watch my next video on screen right now. How to stop overthinking and start trusting your partner. It perfectly complements what you've learned today. Remember, you deserve deep, secure love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your journey in the comments. Until next time, stay mindful, stay connected.